red, liquid green, liquid
That's sick.
yellow, liquid purple. Like they got it all laid out so that you could just go over and grab some already hot liquid color glass and add to their stuff.
That's
And
must
so
have been a dream for you. You're just like, what?
as a glass blower, that's like a really desirable setup. You know what I mean? But it takes a lot of energy because you're burning all that gas to keep all that glass hot. So you better be using it. But this is a manufacturing plant. This is not like
This
your
is not
art.
the.
This isn't your art corner.
You
You know what I
can.
mean?
There's not going to be a lot here when you have the only place in Calgary. You
Yeah,
know, it's
like
not
I
going to
don't
be
know.
that
I don't
big.
know how
Like
many. I
they're
don't
not going to
know
have that like a.
how many glass factories there are down in Mexico, but this one was pretty big and it had a lot of guys working in it. And they showed us on the side like all these racks of glasswork. It's all the stuff that you're buying at Walmart, that you're buying at IKEA. Like all these things are like being made en masse by these guys, getting paid like they're getting paid like as a professional glass blower. Polo was like a gaffer, right? So this is the guy the leading the glass blowing charge. You know what I mean? Like he's running a team. The gaffer is. So he's got assistants, and there's other glass blowers and stuff, but he's like the guy running the show. And this guy should be like in Canada would be making like a professor's salary. You know what I mean? Like the people at Pilchuck or the people
But they
at
get paid
Corning
pesos,
Museum
so
of
it's
Glass.
just nothing.
They get paid like a lot of money
Oh, they
to
do?
be
Okay.
here in North America.
Oh, but not
yeah.
there. Yeah.
No, not in Mexico. This guy's was making like, I think at the time he was making 12 or 13 bucks an hour. You know what I mean? When I talked to him a few years later, he was like making 15 bucks an hour. You know, so he's making a minimum wage living. Now, granted, that's like decent money in Mexico. It's not great money, but it's decent money. But that means everybody below him is making even less money. You know what I mean?
Like $5 an hour.
And they're doing incredible, phenomenal work. Like we're talking about
Wow.
making all your glass pitchers and your glass salad bowls and like your wine glasses, like all these things. And basically, they're making them en masse, like repetitively, again and again and again. Here, we just made an order of 1,000 goblets that are getting shipped to this IKEA, and now we need to make 1,000 glasses. Now we need to make like 200 vases,
Yeah.
and like big ones, elaborate ones, big flowers up the sides of them, and like big crazy shapes, and like things that take like several minutes to make. Like even though they've got the process down and they've got all the prep, still some of these processes on some of these glass pieces, you're talking about like 30 minutes of work, maybe an hour of work, depending how elaborate it is. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, and if he was to focus that energy making individual glass art pieces, just of any kind of cool pattern, color, whatever, and be like, I'm a glass artist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Well,
sell his work as a glass artist in the worldwide glass community. There's glass artists out there selling like Chihuly and other guys selling pieces upwards of like 20, 50, $100,000, depending on the elaborateness of the piece, depending on how many pieces are put together. Like Chihuly does, like he's like a fucking Tom Cruise of glass blowing. You know what I mean? So it's like he's like that guy who's like made a name professionally doing major installations for mad money, being about like the art and the glamour of it, and like really pushing glass to that forefront. He's like a
Yep.
master creator, big designer, and like rubbed elbows with the right people to get those connections and get that money paid for that glass. The average working glass person, like there's a really dope artist, Mark Douglas, out of Australia. There's Tyler Rock, like all these like
Look 'em
local
up.
guys. They're definitely not. I certainly don't think they're multimillionaires for their work. You know what I mean? Like they're all working guys. You know what I mean? They sell their work for good money, but they're not like they're not like billionaires or millionaires
Yeah.
off of blowing
They're not
glass.
Banksy.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's a thing that you do because you love it. You know what I mean? Because both of those guys are master glass blowers. Like Tyler Rock is like insanely talented in terms of
At
his
the end of the day, it's
craftsmanship
never
and
for
skill
the
of his
money
art.
when you love it.
He does, yeah. Like these guys do it because they love it. They love making art. They love working with this material. But the point being is that they do make a good living. They certainly aren't getting paid $15 an hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like My point is this guy's in Mexico, Polo. He's there, and he's
There's
in
just
this
three levels. There's
he's
like
in this
Mexico,
circumstance.
the
Yeah.
normal paid in America or whatever,
Right,
like
yeah.
society, and then
And
the
then-
inflated fucking probably guys who aren't even as good as the guys down here, but they're just fucking selling it for insane amounts
it's
of
so
money.
weird how we have these breakdowns and manipulations of value around the world, so that it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, the guy can do the exact same work as someone here. He can do 10 times the work of someone here, and will not get paid 1/10 the amount of money that someone
fucked.
here will get paid.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I was like, yo, man, like, you just send me some photos of some like bigger dope pieces, like some of these big like design things that you're sending for IKEA, like even just some of these pictures, like you could just say some of this shit is art and not even have like a real thing behind it, but just say like these are some art pieces I made and have some really nice photos of them. And you could do like an art show, send some and package some of them up, send them up to you to
Yeah.
Canada. Let's do a show in a gallery and sell like, even if we just sold 2 pieces for you for like $2,000 each, or you know what I mean?
He's probably be fucking
You'd be
stoked.
stoked,
Yeah.
right?
It's like 20,000 pesos,
And
bro.
he's like, yo, let me show
Or
you.
whatever
He's
the
like,
fuck it
let
is.
me. He didn't speak very
200,000.
good English either, right? So it was like we were having a hard time communicating, but we were making it work. My Spanish is terrible, and
I only know peso.
yeah,
Or C. Like, I'm fucking
I'm
terrible.
working on it, but it's like it definitely is hard. You have to use it all the time.
I think it's
And
the one I would want to learn if I was going to learn. another
It's
language.
great. It's great.
Or German.
And Mexican people are great to like be able to speak Spanish and be able to communicate with them is a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Like the culture, the people is great. But so Polo's like, here, let me show you what I like to make, right? And he goes and he shows me.
A bong.
The,
No, just
no,
kidding.
yeah, it's like no, not a bong, but like he opens this little case. It's like he's got this cool little case, and I'm like, what the hell's he gonna have in here? Opens it up, and he's got like trinkets, tiny little fucking whales and
Sick.
dolphins and turtles, and like they are sick, but at the same time they're things where if you were to try and sell that here in Canada, like at the jewelry store, let's say, or something, like someone would come along and look at that and be like, well, I'll give you $30 for that or $40
Yeah.
for that.
Maybe,
You know what I mean?
maybe in Banff.
Maybe,
They're
yeah,
they're
you
selling
know what
those
I mean?
fucking
Or
little
maybe,
purple
like-
rocks for like $500. I'm just like,
Right.
who the fuck is buying this rock?
There's tons of flame workers who were busting their ass making all these little things, and small like somewhat niche gimmicky kind of glass figurines just did not have much of a market value. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like unless you happen to know that one crazy person who was addicted to them that you could sell a few to, like really it's not like a sustainable. It was like if you spent a few days making like some three large elaborate pieces, you'd only have to sell one of those large elaborate pieces for a few $1,000s or $1,000. Like Rubaiyat down on 17th Ave there was like killing it, and is like has a really good display of professional glasswork, and their prices are up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But their quality of the glasswork is also really really up there, and so it just shows you like what the going market value is for somewhere that isn't established, like actual like there the year before Katrina, and like just all those kind of environments. Like there's glass blowing literally everywhere around the world. It's crazy. Like
Have you ever made a bong?
Oh yeah.
Like a stupid question, but I
I'm
just
pretty
had it
sure like
loaded there.
90% of glass blowers make a bong at
And
some
they
point.
blaze? Do you think they're all potheads?
No,
No.
no. It's a big part of the community. There's definitely a large aspect of pot smoking that kind of coincides with glass blowing.
When I
for
watched the show, it kind
a
of looks
lot
like
of them,
they're
but
all
not
like,
all of them.
yeah.
And like, I wouldn't say it's even half. You know what I mean? I don't know. I wouldn't even want to put a percentage on it or something.
Yeah.
I just know the people who do smoke pot and blow glass hang out with people who smoke pot and blow glass.
Yeah,
And the
they
people
gotta
who
sell their
don't
bongs
smoke
to
pot,
someone.
yeah, and the people who don't smoke pot and blow glass, typically will hang around with people who also don't smoke pot but blow glass. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's not but like for example, I went to a Red Deer conference. They had a glass conference in Red Deer the one year, and I TA'd there for 2 months with Benjamin Kickert, and they guest spotted a really talented lady, Laura Donifer, from out in Ontario, and she, fabulous redheaded lady, lots of energy, came in. 100 degrees Celsius.
You can just slap it like.
Well, you can hit it one time with something that has moisture, right? So it's like the glass is still hot enough, it moves enough, and then so it's soft enough you could push it, but it do a gas instantly because it's so hot, and so your hand is pretty much instantaneously dry on the surface of it.
That's cool.
And if you slap it a second time, your hand will
Burned.
stick. Yeah,
Oh, fuck.
it'll take that top layer of like you'll probably get a 3rd-degree burn on your palm.
I just started
Not very
welding,
fun.
pipe fitting or whatever, and fuckers, man, at the start they didn't tell me, and I like went and welded under